welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your host, Dr. Beverly Jordan. I want to welcome you again to another wonderful episode of Wealth Builders. I know if you tuned in at the onset of the broadcast, you had an opportunity to look at my most recent listing at 9014 LaSalle Boulevard in Detroit. What a beautiful, beautiful home. I mean, the wood, the cherry wood in there, the deep oak wood. I mean, it's so unbelievable that quality of workmanship and the ornate features in the interior is just it ever existed. You can only find beautiful interior design like that at this price point in Detroit. That's why so many people love Detroit. If you pick this home up now, it's only priced at $329,000, and that's for nearly 3,000 square feet of living space and over 1,400 square feet in the basement. You've got 4 spacious sized bedrooms, and then you have 2 smaller bedrooms, which would be the third quarter, formerly, of course, the servants' quarter. Beautiful, spacious living room with fireplace, formal dining room, breakfast room, what is it called? Butler's pantry, thank you, and eating kitchen. I mean, really beautiful home. A nursery, you have a solarium right off the living room, another solarium, you might refer to it also as maybe a Florida room or a sitting room right off of the master bedroom. I'm telling you, it is a beautiful home. So if you're interested in seeing the home, please give me a call. Your realtor of choice, Beverly Jordan, Selling Dreams Called Real Estate, Global Scope Real Estate Solutions, your realtor of choice. All right. Well, today, as always, we have an awesome broadcast. What has been reverberating in my spirit even before I went on vacation, for some of you, you know, I just literally returned from vacation. I was in Florida from August 30th through September 7th, and it was a wonderful time of receiving impartation. It was a wonderful time of upgrade, a time of relaxation, a time of working, and a time of vacationing. So I was able to do a little bit of it all while I was there in the Orlando, Florida. And then on the last day, right before I came back to Michigan, I drove down to near Tampa, Zephyrhills, Florida, near Tampa, where I connected with a former colleague, and so where she's retired and now lives in Florida. But it was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. And before I left, as I started to talk about, before I left for vacation, I kept hearing the phrase, prepare to win, prepare to win, prepare to win. And since I've been back, that same phrase has been reverberating in my spirit, prepare to win. So I'm going to talk about today, preparing to win. What does it mean, first of all, to win? First of all, to prepare, Prepare means to do or plan in advance. To do or plan in advance, before time. So preparation could involve several things, but in order to prepare, you have to do it in advance. You do not prepare for your flight. You do not prepare for the vacation the day that you should be checking in for your flight, right? And so it is for what we are called to do in the kingdom, in our mandate. And not only, I'm not talking church now here, I'm talking destiny and assignments to win in the earth, even in everyday life. You and I have to prepare to win. We have to do some advanced things in order to win. And so I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. I hear my producer talking, and it's a little, but excuse me. Um, Thank you. Yes, I can hear your conversation, both of your conversations, and it's distracting me. Okay, thank you. So anyway, in the preparing to win, you have to first determine, do you have the mindset to win? Do you have the mindset to win whatever God has given you? Do you know how many conversations, inner dialogue we have with ourselves? And the inner dialogue is negative? Do you even pay attention to your inner conversations? Oftentimes we look at other people and we talk about how negative they are and what a pessimistic person they are and what negative energy they bring. But I want to ask you, I'm asking myself, do you also have negative energy? Are you preparing to win? Do you have a mindset of a winner? When you consider a matter and you think about the conclusion of the matter, do you envision yourself being a winner or having won or successfully accomplished or achieved that which you were pursuing? So preparing to win is first of all a mindset. You have to have the mind that you can win, regardless of how many times you've lost, regardless of how many times you've fallen off the wagon, regardless of how many times you've started and stopped, regardless of how many people who have failed, regardless of the negative reports, the statistics, the data that says you will not win. You must, I must, we must prepare to win. So that has to be done in advance. It has to be done in my head. It has to be done in my heart. And it has to be done in my deeds. Well, you might ask, Dr. Jordan, how do I prepare to win in my mind, in my head? Well, first of all, we have to look at the Word of God, the infallible, immutable, unchangeable Word of God. What does it say about you and about you being a winner? I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. If you park and just stay there 1 minute, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things. So that means that I can go back to school at age 65. I can lose the weight. I can survive the divorce. I can survive the job loss. I can survive the foreclosure. I can survive the mockery and overcome the laughter and the chicanery of men, envy and jealousy. I can finish the book. I can be a renowned speaker. I can be known in the annals of history as having been instrumental in leading millions to Christ. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because I'm not leaning to my own understanding. That's part 2. Don't figure out in your own mind. Don't try to analyze or overanalyze or overthink. How is this going to happen? I have no education. I have no one to, as the man who laid by the pool for 38 years lame. He says, how is it going to happen? I have no one to put me in the river, in the pool of Bethesda, where the healing springs, the healing power, the deliverance power, the resurrection power, the restoration power was flowing powerfully. I have no one to do it. Don't figure it out. Don't overthink it. Get before the Lord. Get before the Spirit of truth. Spend time in the Spirit of truth presence to get an understanding of not only the assignment, but how, the who, the when, connecting with this person, connecting with that industry, connecting with that body, connecting with that country, connecting with that company, connecting with that ministry, connecting with that state, connecting with that individual. Get before the Lord and hear the word of the Lord, because when you hear, and you hear very clearly and very succinctly, that alone will break the mentality of not being able to achieve and not being able to succeed and not being able to move forward and not being able to prepare to win. When you hear from the Lord, I'm telling you, there is nothing like it when you know for certainly, not talking about I sense, because we have those experiences. I know I do as a prophet of God. I sometimes sense, or sometimes there is a measure of discernment, or there's sometimes in the still small voice, I believe that was God. But there are times when the thunder of God, he speaks very clearly, or even the whisper of God, he speaks very clearly, and you know it's God beyond a shadow of a doubt. And it breaks off the spirit of lethargy. It breaks off the spirit of the sloth. It breaks off the spirit of dormancy, and it pushes you, it awakens you, alerts you, causes you to arouse and be encouraged and inspired to know that, yes, I can win. I can win in going back to school. I can win in achieving my broker's license. I can win in launching my own business. I can win in launching my own ministry. I can win in writing that book. I can win in relocating. I can win in connecting with new streams. I can win in being a world-renowned speaker. I can win as I win souls to Christ. I can win in teaching others how to win. I can win in empowering others. But I must first prepare to win. What does it mean to win? I've already talked about what it means to prepare. That is to do in advance, to plan in advance, before time. But what does it mean to win? To win means to achieve my desired outcome, my desired result, my desired vision, to realize my desired vision. That's what it means to win. And so when I'm looking at preparing to win, I have to ask myself several questions. Have I been, or am I decisive in my goal? In what am I pursuing? Am I decisive in it? Am I is my vision of it precise? Is it laser focused? Or am I, well, if I don't succeed in this, then I'll do this. If you've ever talked to small children, say, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Well, if I can't be a fireman, then I want to be a police chief. If I can't be a police chief, then I want to be the president of the United States. If I can't be the president of the United States, then I'll be a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. Well, you know, we have adults that are still like that. When you are scattered with your vision, when you're scattered with what it is you're going for, when you're scattered about what it is you believe you're called to do in life, you're like the wind blowing. One day the wind is blowing to the east, one is to the west, one to the north, one day to the south. One day to the east, one day to the west, one day to the north, one day to the south. And so it is when we are not focused, because we're not our mind is not made up, because we don't have a clear vision of what it is we're pursuing. And when we don't have a clear vision of what it is we're pursuing, we will find ourselves all over the place, not making any progress, not making not being very intentional. And so if you're not intentional, you are not focused. So how can you win if you are not focused on the vision? So we must be intentional on what it is we want, be very concise and precise, have precision, to be laser beam focused and intentional on what it is we're pursuing. That's how we become successful in achieving our goals. I shared with you some time back when the Lord dealt with me about becoming a real estate broker. And the Lord said to me, all things real estate. All things real estate. And I knew when the Spirit of the Lord began to talk to me about all things real estate, I knew I was going to have to cut off some other focuses. Because, sometimes when you're working to make it happen, you're doing a little bit of this and you're doing a little bit of that and you're doing a little. But when he said all things real estate, I knew I had to then bring my focus into focus. I had to become very precise, very decisive, very laser focused on what it is I was doing. And my focus was, of course, I was still working my real estate business under someone else's leadership and brokerage, but my focus was studying to become a broker. I began to take the courses. I began to look at the administrative component. I began to look at the licensing regulation. I began to look at what it was going to take. I began to look at the name of the business. I hired graphic artists for the logo. I began to consult for the website. All of those things because what? I was preparing to win. So sometimes when you're preparing to win, it may take you years, depending on what it is you're pursuing. But if you do it step by step, you create a vision and you create a plan and you determine, do I need a coach? Do I need a counselor? Do I need a mentor? Do I need a teacher? What do I need to realize? What do I need to win in this area of my life? I had to reach out. I had to reach out to other brokers. I had lunch with other brokers to get wise counsel, to get insight, to understand. I was preparing to win. I did not expect, even though I had been in real estate for more than 16 years, I did not expect to just wake up, pass the exam, the broker's exam, get my license from the state of Michigan, and all of a sudden know what to do is a method of operation as a broker, a licensed broker, real estate broker. I had no expectation without consultation, without coaching, without getting wise counsel for those who have been there and done that. Why? Because it was part of my strategy in preparing to win. So when things go a bust, you have to ask yourself, did I prepare to win? Now, some people are more analytical, more anal than I am. And, they have to have 3 dots and 10 T's. I'm not that person. I'm pretty much a person that can, I like the T's crossed and the I's dotted. But I also like being impromptu, because it's the creative side of me. But when you're starting something new and you want to operate within the confines of laws and regulations, you need insight, you need wisdom, you need instruction, you need understanding. Part of that was me simply reading and comprehending what I was reading. And then when I met for consultation, I revisited what I read to ensure the instructions. I called the board of realtors and inquired. North Oakland, I'm a member of North Oak. There's several board of realtors in Michigan. I'm a member of the North Oakland board of realtors, NOCBOR. And so I called and had my list of questions already lined out because I aligned for questioning because I was preparing to win. I was preparing to win. I wanted to make certain that I had favorable outcomes with what I was doing in this new endeavor. I didn't have too much pride to ask. I didn't have too much knowledge to seek wise counsel. No such thing when you're entering a new endeavor, a new arena, new field. You need to seek wise counsel, whether it comes in a consultation, a mentor, a coach, a teacher, or simply just a conversation with someone that is experienced. Prepare to win. What has God challenged you with? What has God given you in new assignments in this hour? I love it. Last week I was talking about how many of us don't even own like a side lot. How many people don't own any real estate? And I shared with you how I received a call from a gentleman who had to move. He had been at this place for over 10 years. He paid over $158,000 in rent, but now the seller, and they were on time. He said him and his wife been there, took care of the house, on time with their rent. But in this market, the seller decided, hey, I want to sell my house. Wow. So although he paid for the house twice over, $158,000 in the years of renting, when it came time for that seller to sell her property, that's exactly what she was willing and ready to do. What are your choices, Mr. Renter, Mrs. Renter? Your choice is you have a 30-day notice and you need to begin, to find a place to live. How many times do I get a call like that? Where people at the 11th hour who say they have been faithful in their rent and know that they paid tens of thousands of dollars over the years had to move. Let me tell you about preparing to win. When you prepare to win, let's just say you're going to buy a house. Let's say you're preparing to buy a house in next year in March or April. So this is September 2021. If you're preparing to win, the first thing you need to do is assess where your credit is. And when I say preparing to win, I'm talking about you made a firm decision that you want to purchase a home. You're tired of renting. And to be honest with you, as much as I like for you to purchase a home for me, I really don't care. As long as you buy a house after renting 15 years. Sometimes it's a season where you have to rent. Things been so tough, or the Lord, is just telling you, no, you stay right there until I tell you, otherwise. But some people have passed their season and someone else's season, and they're into a new season, and they've not recognized the new season, so they've not been in a position to seize the moment because they did not prepare to win. So now let me go back to my point of what it takes to prepare to win as it relates to you have made a decision now. You're ready to buy a house. We're in September 2021, but you're saying, hey, I know it's going to take a minute. But in March, April of 2022, I am going to be ready to move into my new home. So how do we prepare to win right now? We start right now. You made a decision. And the first thing we're going to do is check your credit, right? Because if things are off in your credit, you've got 4, 5, 6 months to get it corrected, get it repaired. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing you're going to do is determine your income to debt ratio. Do I have too much debt? And that's done through a lender. I have lenders that I work with. We also work with Wayne Metro. But you work with a lender, and a lender, I work with a lot with Gold Star Financial, Olivia Moore. And so Olivia will tell you, hey, this is what we need to do to get you ready. We can get you ready in 5 months. We can get you ready in 6 months. But here's what you have to do. Now, when you get the wise counsel from the subject matter expert who works with the lender to give you the money to buy the house, you have to follow the instructions. When you prepare to win, you follow instructions. I am amazed, and I have been guilty. I remember, honest goodness truth, can I just be transparent? So I hired a health coach pre-pandemic, to help me eat healthier and lose weight, whatever. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was paying handsomely. I, honest to goodness, listened to her, but I did not follow the instructions. I obeyed my flesh and habits. So did I win in that area yet? No, because I did not prepare my ways before the Lord. I had not prepared to win. I prepared facsimile, but I was not integrous to myself. To follow through, to crucify my flesh, to discipline, to listen to wise counsel, to obey, to follow the instructions. I did not do it. No. So I didn't prepare to win. And guess what? I didn't win in that area. But if you don't want to be like me, if you say, Beverly, you know what? I really, I'm tired of renting. I'm tired of living with other people. I have the money. I've been working for years. I have a stable job, or I just started a job. I've been on my job for 2 years. I'm working on my credit. I know I need to clean up some things or whatever. It says you have a desire to do and be better, and you want to prepare to win. And if you want to prepare to win, I'm here to help you win. Let me be that midwife. Let me be that coach. Let me be the wise counsel to help you to win, to seize your land. I'm going to tell you this in closing. As I said, I was in Florida for a week, and I thank God for Apostle Michelle McLean Walters and her husband, Apostle Walters, and the powerful conference that really blessed hundreds of lives over this past week. The week of, September 2nd through the 4th. But as I said, I was there the 30th through the 7th because I was doing other things and so forth. However, what really blessed me, so many things blessed me. But before I left going on vacation, one of the things that I talked about was owning land. Even if you can't afford a house right now, can you buy a vacant lot? $100, $250, $500? Can you at least just invest in a vacant lot so you can own some land? Because God is not making any more land. So in the conference, Apostle Stephen Garner of Chicago, he said this, and it blessed me, because if you've ever heard him pray, oh my God, the man is graced and anointed to pray. And he says he was in one of his Boston churches, or at the Boston church. He's in Chicago, based in Chicago. And he says that the Lord spoke very clear to him and said, the powers of the air of Chicago, hear me now, the powers of the air of Chicago. Now, he resides in Chicago, and that's where his church is, in Chicago. The powers of the air of Chicago don't regard you as credible because you own no dirt. Did you hear me? This man can pray, as a cliche would say, heaven down. This man is a powerful, when you're in his presence, you know the man can pray. But he said the Lord spoke to him and said, the powers of the air of Chicago deem you non-credible because you own no dirt in Chicago. Oh my God. That was exactly what I was saying. Not that the powers of the air deem you non-credible, but that everyone should at least, if you can't afford it right now, if you're renting right now, buy a piece of land, a vacant lot, please. My God. $100. You spend that when you go out on drinks and dancing. Don't own land. Don't own a house. You own your shoes and your purse. Oh my God. So it's time to wake up and prepare to win and teach the next generation to win. Prepare them to win, and the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. Prepare them to win. How is it the body of Christ, we have churches that have been churches for years, operating for years, and they're renting someone else's building, and then they go home and they rent someone else's house. And we talk about king and kingdom. Never owned. I'm not talking owned and lost, had a hiccup in life or what. Never owned. And it's not because God said not so. It's because we fail to prepare to win. With that, I'm going to leave you with this. Ask yourself, if you're preparing to win, how intentional are you? And what is the end result? What does your win look like? What does your win look like in your weight? What does your win look like in your finances? What does your win look like in your ministry? What does your win look like in your raising your children? What does your win look like in resuming your education? What does your win look like in financial literacy in your bank accounts, investment accounts? What does your win look like in buying a new home? What does your win look like in paying off debt? What does your win look like in reconciling with old friends or in your marriage or in your community? What does preparing to win entail? And if you win, what does it look like? So that you and I can be a testimony to God's glory and God's power in the earth. That's the whole reason for being an overcomer, right? So in your mind, prepare to win. In your heart, believe that it's ordained and assigned and you are destined to win. In your hands, believe that you can prosper through creativity and through diligence that will bring winning, and that you can shake hands with those that are integrous and that will hold you up and that will support you and that will pray for you. And then with the other hand, you can hold others up, support, pray, encourage, push, point for directing. Prepare to win. Now, for those of you who are interested in my listing at 9014, as I close out, we're going to show you the property again, and I look forward to seeing you again the same time next week on Wealth Builders with your host, Dr. Beverly Jordan.